Boom. All right, we are live. Let's go. Uh, Yep. Yep. Well, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Mindscape. You know where it is. Uh, I'm your host, or one of your hosts, Caprice the Fool. You got, yeah, y'all can go. Well, anyways, today's topic we're going to talk about relationships, the importance of them, pretty much what it means to have a healthy relationship, set proper boundaries, and then also probably talk about some like what toxic relationships are, how those kind of start, that kind of a thing. Either way, I'll let you guys start off. Just relationship in general, for friendships, like just the values of like what makes a healthy relationship, like whether that's friends, family, romantic partners. Like I said, you can pick whatever aspect. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, friendship is a type of relationship. Yep. That is also a relationship. Not a good one, but it's really. I mean, look at Padme Amidala from Star Wars. I gotta resist that one. I'm sorry, that was low hanging fruit. It was so easy there. Oh my god! Give me 1 second. Okay,
I'm not.
well, we did that shit again. I forgot to turn on the audio. Thank you, Soren, for letting us know that we can hear everybody's audio this time.
Oh shit!
I hate that's the one thing I hate about this. Like I had to like specifically click this specific thing for it to act all the audio, and I'm like, dude,
So
that's
it
so
was
annoying.
silent. It was silent.
It
The whole
was
time.
silent. Yeah,
We were just miming everything.
pretty much. Like Soren literally just messaged me. I'm like, oh,
Yo, whoever can read lips right now is probably gonna enjoy that.
yo, whoever can read, all we gotta do is put on subtitles, and we'll be good. Maybe,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Closed captioning.
Well, you know what? That's good anyway, because I was yo.
At least we got it out between the three of us.
Yo, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's one thing. Like, it's definitely gonna have to get. I wish I could just hit a mark and just be like, always have this checked off, so I don't have to worry about it because it is literally in the corner.
You gotta write it on your whiteboard behind you on the door.
Oh no, that's not gonna help me. I have to turn around to look at that. I'm like, no, I ain't gonna see that. Like, no, I just need to find a way where it's like, because it's in the little corner, and it's.
So wait, Soren is watching this on the TV.
Yeah. He just messaged me.
Oh, so we are live on YouTube.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. What channel or what link is it?
I sent it in the group chat, so you should have it. Or you should see it.
Oh shit! Okay, there we go.
That's very.
All right. Well, yeah. Well, yeah.
Nice.
Like we were saying, like. I mean,
That's
addiction
very
is a type of
important.
relationship, and once you kind of get over that hump and you look at everybody, that it affected, you really do. It does bring a whole new perspective, that's for sure. Like I know, even for me, it's like I'm a huge fucking recluse. Like I need my me time. I just need to be alone most of the time. That's just how I operate. And whenever
that doesn't work in relationships.
I mean, it does, and it doesn't.
Any relationship, you want me time? No, you do that on another time.
Oh yeah, like I mean, it makes. I will definitely say it makes relationships a lot harder, especially for me, where it's like I am someone also who I like to be there for my partner, and like I'm a consistent person, so I will sacrifice a ton of myself, me time, for them, and I've realized like I can't do that because physically I won't be able to function properly if I never have my like me time. So I will like crash and burn, and I'll become like just really really lethargic, and then that becomes an issue. So it's like finding a balancing act for me. That's what I found is like extremely like important, because if I don't, it's not going to be a good relationship, because it's going to be too draining for me, and then I'm not going to want to be in it. And then at the same time, if I'm always doing, like you said, taking me time, they're going to feel like, hey, they're not part of the relationship, and they're not going to want to be in it. So it's like, one have to be, open enough to be like, hey, I do need me time. I'm willing to give you some time. We can plan things out, stuff like that. But I need time to myself to recharge physically, especially, between my work, family events, stuff of that nature.
How much me time are we talking about? Is it like, what is the length of me time you can take?
Well, that like I
Dealing
said,
with,
that it all kind of depends because, like I said, like I know, like last week, I like this whole week, and I just been like on like what do you call it, like recharge mode, like low
yeah,
battery, like battery save mode type of deal because the week like before was a bunch of family events, bunch of like going out, and like I was just busy nonstop for the whole last weekend, and the weekend before I was pretty busy, so it's just been like pretty much a nonstop, constantly, wearing out my battery. So I put myself in like I said, low battery mode because I still have to do my work, I still have to do my job, but I kept certain like visiting with like people very limited. At that point, really just had to catch up on a bunch of stuff. I dropped the ball on like a lot of things during the week because I physically could not function properly because I just needed time to myself. So I didn't even really record any like of my own personal videos really this week. I kind of just goofed off, played some games, just kind of did things that were really, really low maintenance, really chill, just to get myself back up and going. Like now I'm like, okay, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty recharged. Like I can still spend some time with like some people, but I'm like, I'm not going to go and be like, oh, let me go spend like 2 whole weekends with someone. I'm like, no, my max limit with people, like constant socialization nonstop is 3 weeks. That is my breaking point. After those 3 weeks, I'm like, don't expect to see me for a fucking week. They'll leave me alone for a week. That's
right,
that's
right.
that's my thing. Like that's my cutoff point. Um, but like I'm willing to do that but for the most part I'm always looking at it like ideally the best thing I'd want to do is every other week is like, hey, I'll give you every other week, then the other week I'd like to be on cooldown mode, so that way it's a consistent thing and it's not like, okay, 3 weeks now I need to shut down, all right, now
Well,
I need to pick back up in 3 weeks, I need to shut down.
what happens when you have someone that wants to latch onto you
Like
consistently?
codependence.
Codependent.
Oh, codependence. I actually dated a girl who was very much like that, and it like that's where I learned like, yeah, I needed me time because I was pretty much any free time I was given to her, like whether it was phone calls, FaceTime, video chats, stuff of that nature, and it was exhausting me because I'm like, I felt like I didn't have any like time for myself. I didn't have any time to like play games. Didn't have any time like this. Like and I felt bad not giving it to her, but I also felt like I said, drained. Where it's like I really don't want to be part of this because I felt so physically drained all the time, and then I also felt guilty because anytime I wasn't giving her time, it became like a big issue where it's like, okay, well now I'm the bad guy, like, and I realized like I have to set that boundary. I need to be okay with, in a sense, being like, I can be the bad guy sometimes, whatever. If you see me as a bad guy, I understand, but I need to physically have me time because otherwise I can't function. And then you're not going to get the best version of me. You're going to get like, the Capri's light, so to speak, where it's just going to be like really thin. And then you're going to be like, well, why don't you want to like go out and do anything? Because I'm tired. That's why I'm exhausted. So I don't want to do A, B, or C. Well, you never want to do anything because I'm tired. I physically don't want to do anything because I'm in like low power mode. So I want to do things that's minimal, but that's not fun if you're always like, and I'm a huge, like I said, I'm a huge homebody. I'm a huge like hermit type of personality. So I like being home. To me, I'm like, yes, no, if I can stay, I'm gonna stay in. Like, give me that option. Like, oh, I ain't going nowhere, dude. Like, you ain't getting shit. But like, and that's why I'm like, no, if I'm like charged, as they say, my cup is full. I don't mind doing things for the other person, but at the same time, they also need to understand, like, yeah, there's going to be times where my cup's not going to be full, and you got to see, okay, maybe he's at like half charge. Okay, maybe we'll do something like light, and then we can have him time and he can kind of like go over and like chill out. Like I said, that's what I learned from my last relationship was that codependence type of mentality, and that's kind of why I understood like, okay, this is where I need to set boundaries. This is where I need to set things, and I need to set the baseline to begin with because, like I said, I can't have that. I physically cannot take that.
Yeah,
What? So what about you, Kaiser? Your turn.
man. I don't know. It's just, I mean, you're right. You have to have effective communication. And come up with different strategies of, you know, for cleaning up communication, because you can have bad habits and breaking down those bad habits, and you might have sensitive partners, and you know you have to be able to find a way to sneak through that. And if you don't, then it's going to be very tough. And if my past relationships, I've always been a very communicative person, believe it or not. I've always speak my mind. I'm very, I'm very humble for the most part, but I'm also blunt at the same time. And whatever comes in my head, I just speak it right then and there. And so, that kind of
I don't know
finds its
why I
way
like
into
you.
very bad communication problems. Because you can't just speak your mind and whatever you want and say and have an effective, relationship, in my mind at least. Um, so I had to learn very quickly that, speaking my mind was not going to be a good thing in any kind of relationship. Right now I'm in my relationship with my cousins and my aunt and my uncle. you know, I have to set certain boundaries in order for them to understand. Like, I don't like talking about certain things in a certain way, and at the same time, I just can't, you know, function as like a human being with, the way they've been kind of treating me as. Right now, I would just loosely say is that what's going on is that my cousin's is married and she's going for a divorce, and but she has her mom and dad are not getting along. They're not communicating very well, and so they have me as a middle person talking about the breakup and all that stuff to my aunt and my uncle, and it's getting very messy. It's very getting very tough, and I didn't set enough boundaries in the middle to say that, listen, this is not cool with me. I'm not open to this idea of me being the middle person and just kind of relaying the information on to either my cousin or my aunt and my uncle. And so in that aspect in the relationship, that bond that I set early on forward is kind of broken right now, because they're quickly losing me, and I don't know how to come back from that, because I didn't set my boundaries straightforward and say that I'm not comfortable with this. So now it got too far deep, and now, they're expecting, a little too much from my side, and I don't know how to get back to regular where it was before, where my relationship, I love my uncle and my cousins to death. They're the ones that basically saved me, from a burning relationship with addiction. And it's I don't know. I have a hard time with with certain kind of relationships. It's just it's tough um to really talk about relationship building without communication.
Yeah.
Um, you
Oh
know,
yeah, 100%. I say communication is the key foundation of a good relationship. Like you need that trust. If once trust is broken, that is almost impossible to bring back to like
right,
good standing. Like you can maybe bring it back to a good standing, but it will never get as high where it was originally. Like I know, speaking of like having a situation like that, me and one of my good friends back in high school. I'm not gonna name any names, but we were, actually no, I will. His name, I used to call him Apple, so I'll go with Apple. He knows exactly who we fucking is if he sees this. But anyway, so me and Apple, we got into a big fucking feud. Don't even remember. Like I said, to this day, I don't even remember why. I don't even know if he remembers why. But it was something to do about like graduating high school or something. Something happened. I forget. And so we didn't talk to each other for like months. And what's it called? So like he was going off to the military. So we weren't talking. I included a new friend type of deal. So it was me, another one of our friends, and then my other new friend. We'll call him Gar. So Gar is pretty much like the guy who was like, all right, you'll be our little other friend. We had a middle guy who we call Shido. Um, Pretty much, it was Shido was me and Apple's friend. Me and Apple were not talking. Now, mind you, he's been our friend for years, so he was always the middle guy, and we always, he was always kind of the one we teased, and so he's like trying to, be like, oh, I'll play some, League of Legends with you guys. I'll play some League of Legends with him. We're like, okay, cool. And I forget what happened, but something happened where it got brought up, and he was just like, all right, I'm sick and tired of you guys, like pretty much pinballing me back and forth and like fighting over my time.
mm,
Fuck you guys, figure this shit out. So he pretty much brought us both together. So I'm sitting there, like, not saying shit. He's not saying shit. He's like, and so my friend Sheila's just like, dude, fucking say something. Like, stop this shit. Like, apologize, you fuckers.
right,
And we're like, all right, man. Like, I'm sorry, Al. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, Caprito. I'm sorry, dude. And we're just like, yeah. I'm like, I don't remember. I'll be honest. I was kind of like over it like a weekend. He's like, yeah, same here. I just didn't want to be the first one to say it. Me neither, man. My friend, she looks at us, fucking pissed. He's like, are you fucking serious? And we're just like, shut the fuck up. Like, we both just turned on him, like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, shut up. Like, whatever. Now, mind you, he was going off to like boot camp in like 2 weeks from that point. And like we gave our thing, and all that ended up happening was we just had like, instead of having a 3-man for League of Legends, we had a 4-man now. And I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do this. Now now we none of us Shido and Gar play League. I don't really play League. My friend Apple doesn't play League because they had a big Apple and Gar had a big falling out. And I just haven't played because it's a toxic fucking game, to put it simply. But like it's just one of those things. Like, to this day, I still look at it as like we are stronger for that moment, which is really dumb. Like, you would think, oh well, wouldn't a fight that almost broke your friendship, wouldn't that make you guys like have a weaker friendship? No. And I look at like your situation, it's kind of the same thing. Where I'm sure when you were going through your addiction, you're probably like they're probably like, yeah, he's being fucking dick. Like he's not caring about us. And then you realize, like, no, I value this relationship. Now they're in a situation where you're like, okay, I need to take a step back because I physically can't be between you because I care for both of you deeply. So I can't be in the middle of this. So I think once they get past that rough patch, they're going to have that sort of the same kind of aha moment where it's like, okay, no, our relationship is going to be stronger with, our nephew or cousin or whatever, because we can set these boundaries and still maintain a really close relationship. We just have to, you just sort of come to understand, like, there are certain things that, you, like you said, you create those boundaries, and now that's actually there, you hold to it, and then you let them sort their thing out. Once a thing, you don't abandon them. You don't be like, I'm never gonna fucking talk to you ever again. No, it's like, no, I need to keep my distance.
No, that's the worst thing you do in any kind of relationship is abandoning.
Yep.
Like saying I'm not gonna be part of your life anymore or anything like that. You just gotta be a little bit more frugal in the way you approach things.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think it's just yeah. I don't know. It's just tough to talk about sometimes.
Yeah, like I said, you're just at that. I look at it as you're in that hard, like hard situation. Like I said, it sucks when you're in it. It's like you're pretty much you're in like a pot right now. It sucks to be in it, but once it cools down and everything's set, you'll be like, okay, I'm glad we went through this because now I set this boundary. Right. They know where it is. I know where their boundaries are. It doesn't change our relationship. We can still remain a very close relationship. Now we just have understanding of like, okay, there are certain things that, we don't talk about or we keep off the table, or we're very, kind of like, let's not get into a noted thing. And like I said, I think in the end, it's going to actually make you stronger rather than weaker, because if something like this breaks the relationship was probably not worth keeping. It's kind of the sad fact of it.
That's kind of tough to say with family.
Yeah, like that's one of the things too. It's like with family, it's extremely hard because there's always that sense of like loyalty. But
so how do you know? How do you know? Like, so this is a good question. How do you know when to keep a relationship, when to break up in a relationship, or whether it's worth having in the first place?
I always look at it as if the relationship is like, because that actually is like a really tough question, because I don't think there actually is a right answer. I know for me, a relationship is worth keeping if you both can come to an agreement, like an understanding, like, yeah, okay, we can change or we can accept said boundaries. If the person never will accept your boundaries, it's never going to work. Like, if they're like, if you're like, yo, you're always stepping over my boundaries, like, I can't have that, and they're always stepping over, always pushing you, always testing you, that's a toxic relationship. You like, I've even like, even right now, like, I was talking to a girl a while back, and like, there was a lot of things that she was doing that was like kind of irking me, where it's like she was talking to me a lot, and then like she stopped, and I'm just kind of like, okay, what's going on here? And I'm like, okay, a lot of stuff's going on in her life. I get that. I was open about it, and like, I made it very clear. I'm like, hey, I don't need you to feel like you're obligated to respond. You can, like, if you don't want to talk to me, you don't have to, type of deal. I made it very clear. It's like, oh, well, if I didn't want to talk to you, I want to talk to you. Okay, cool. And then it got to a point where things just kept looking like, okay, it really just feels like you're not really all that interested. So I pointed out where Lily would pretty much I would say very close to my exact words. I was like, hey, I still think you're a cool person. I have no pretty much I was like, okay, hey, I don't really like this dynamic. I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to go focus my energy somewhere more productive. And,
Yeah.
that's really all I said. And her response was, yeah, talking to you was a chore. And then, like, she unfriended me on everything and all that. And I'm just like, I wasn't saying I don't want to be friends. I wasn't saying I don't want to talk. I just don't want to put in that much. I just want to let you know I wasn't going to be like putting in a huge amount of energy. Like, no, I was giving you space. But she took it as like, oh, an abandonment thing where she had like abandonment issues. So she took it like as, oh, you're going to abandon me? No, I'm going to abandon you. And I was like, okay, whatever. And I just moved on. I said, whatever. Like, that's your choice. That says more about, what your insecurities are, what your, fears are rather than mine.
Right.
I don't mind that. Like, you made your choice. I'm going to let you live with that choice. And I, like I said, I walked away because I looked at it where my dignity was worth more than just constantly like trying to like fill this void and feel like, oh, I'm going to stay here. Like, oh, like, look at me. I'm like, no, why would I demean myself in that sort of way? I'm like, no, if you don't want to talk to me, don't, this, I'm not going to keep reaching out. I'm going to tell you, hey, I'm going to go over here, focus on this. When you want to talk, you can come over and reach out to me. It was pretty much what I was saying. Cause I was like, I don't like this dynamic of like, hey, you start a conversation, you bring up an interesting topic and then you just don't reply at all. And then like the next morning, oh, hey, how's it going? Oh, it's going good. You bring up a whole new topic. Don't even continue the old conversation and then stop. Like, that shit's fucking annoying. I don't know anybody who will want that on a regular basis. Like I said, that was happening for like a good solid like 2 weeks every single day. And that's when I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm just done with your shit. Because I called it out once. I made the thing, technically I called it out twice. But now I'm like, if I call this out once, I will tell you, lay down the parameters. And if you do it again, I'm not going to be like, oh, you did it again. No, I'm just going to be like, okay, I'm going to call you out your bullshit and be like, I'm leaving. When you're ready to get your shit together, you're welcome to reach out. I'm not going to like unfriend you. I'm not going to block you or any of that stuff. But once you kind of do it twice, that's when I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm done putting in the effort. I'm going to go this way. When you are ready to actually communicate properly, I'm here. Other than that, I'm not going to keep like extending the olive branch. Like, no, you got to extend the olive branch and I'll take it when it's there because I'm sick and tired of sending you the olive branch and you just kind of like I look at it as like the Adam and Eve, or not the God Adam portrait where it's like God's reaching out his hand and Adam's just like half-assing that shit. I'm like, nah, you don't fucking half-ass this shit, dude. You full-ass it. If you don't want to full-ass this, don't be in my vicinity because that's just how I am. I'm like, I don't need you to constantly be sit there validating. I don't need you to have conversation. What I ask is if you don't. If you bring up a conversation and, we're still talking like the next day, just continue the conversation. Don't keep bringing up new topics and stopping. Bringing up new topics and stopping. Bringing up new topics. Because, like, that's annoying. Like, I'm like, dude.
Finish the topic.
Yeah, I'm like, finish the topic. Don't get me excited about a topic and then be like, yeah, I'm never going back to that topic ever again. Like, it's done. Because it's like, now talking to you becomes an annoyance where it's like, I don't want to talk to you because I'm like, you're doing the same thing. And like, I'm like, I want to be excited to talk to people. Like, if I'm talking to someone, I want to be excited. I want to enjoy talking. Like, I enjoy talking to you guys. Plain and simple. Yeah. Like, when you guys message me, I'm like, hey, yeah, let's go. And like, we do this. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Like, I enjoy this stuff. But like, imagine if like we didn't enjoy talking to each other. Like, this would not be enjoyable. We'd be sitting there like, okay, I guess we'll do the podcast. Like no, nobody wants that. People can feel that energy.
And I had to say, my fault on last Wednesday.
No, that was my fault. 100% my fault. I forgot to follow up. I was a little tight to Mike earlier. I was like, yeah, I dropped the ball so much this week because I was supposed to have like me and my friend usually talk on Thursday. Completely forgot it. Like I was pretty much like out of commission until like the end of Thursday, and then I like realized everything, and I'm like, wait, I didn't follow up. I was supposed to follow up like on the podcast for like Wednesday. Well, that didn't happen. Oh, I was supposed to call my friend earlier today. That didn't happen. Whoops, my bad. And it was just like I said, I was on low battery mode. I was on autopilot like for most of the time. So like I said, I take full responsibility for that one because I did say, hey, I would reach out to you guys beginning of the week, and I did not. So that's on me.
Yeah, Jordan, it's all your fault.
Yeah, don't you dare take my responsibility away from me.
This guy. So, Jay, what are you doing over there, man?
Listening to you guys talk and thinking about relationships.
Yeah, man.
Thinking about all the relationships.
Relationships suck, man.
They're difficult, but we're human beings. Like even me being like a big hermit, I still need relationships. Like I straight up still need like conversations. I need people to I can talk
All right,
to.
how about this one? What if you forget a birthday? What if you forgot their birthday?
I'm gonna let you know this now. This is such a close to home type of thing. My friend, I have gotten his birthday wrong pretty much all up until like literally I want to say maybe 4 years ago. His birthday is June 21st. No, 20.
Okay.
Fuck. I'm getting it wrong again. I'm like, I think it's 20. It's 28th. His birthday is June 28th, I think. So, give me a second.
Now you gotta go look it
I'm
up.
literally like, give me a second. I'm looking this shit up. I'm like, he's gonna be pissed that I had to look it up again. He's gonna be like, dude, do you not know my fucking birthday? I'm gonna be like, you fucking know this. But I have been getting his birthday wrong for years. Yes, it's June 28th. I had it right the second time. I was right. But I used to always say it was June 21st. And as you guys can see, I just still did it. But June 28th. And so I would always get it wrong. I'd be like, yeah, his birthday is June, your birthday's June 21st. No, it's not. I'm like, the fuck you mean? No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. It's June 28th. No, it's not. The fuck you mean? Like, no, it's not. You're fucking lying. So like I said, that happened all the way until like recently. And then he started mixing my birthday up with his mom's birthday. So it started getting like real out of hand. Like, I don't really care if somebody remembers my birthday. I know for guys, it probably doesn't mean as much necessarily usually. But like, it's like I said, when it comes to birthdays, it's almost like a running joke with me. I'm like, I'm probably not going to remember. Like my best friend, literally my best friend, I can't tell you his birthday. I can't tell you his birthday off the top of my head. I can tell, like, I know.
I was never a birthday person. I never remember days.
Like for me, it's like it's hard to remember them, and then on top of that, what's it called?
You know what makes me remember Facebook?
Yeah, that's what I bet. That's what I like. Like,
if there's no Facebook reminder, then I'm forget about it. I don't know your birthday.
Yeah, like
the only reason you got a happy birthday from me is because Facebook told me.
Yeah, I'm like, it has to be like a really simple birthday. Like for me, I'm like, my birthday's easy. It's literally January 3rd. It's literally the third day of the motherfucking year. My friend's mom's birthday is the 4th. It's right after mine. Very easy. I remember one of my clients' birthdays. Why? Because his birthday is literally the day before mine. It is literally not that science. Like I remember my dad's birthday. Why? Because 7. It's literally 7-7. My dad's number was just 7, so it's easy to remember his birthday. I can remember my girlfriend's birthday because it's June 1st. It is the 1st of June. Very easy. I can remember my other friend's birthday.
All the in the middle.
Right first, but it's like you start getting towards like certain numbers. I will not remember that shit for like the life of me. Like
the 20s.
I know there's this random girl who I went to school with. Her name was Jordan. You want to know why I remember her birthday?
Because your name is Jordan?
No, because me being the absolute clown that I am, her birthday is April 1st. So literally the reason I remember it is because I literally said, "Oh, your birthday's a joke." That's why I remember it, because it's a fucking joke. Only reason why I remember.
You're a dick.
Oh, I am. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm not. Like, it is. It's funny, but it's like that's the only reason I remember. I'm like, your birthday is literally a joke. I don't remember. Like, I'm pretty sure your reaction was like, obviously not very amused.
But where did that come from? April Fools.
I have no clue, dude. Like, I have no clue. It's such a weird type of thing too.
Yeah,
like it's just funny.
That's a whole other episode. April Fool's jokes.
There's a ton of them too.
I've done some crazy jokes. But yo, man, for real. Right now, relationships. I'm working on my relationship with myself, and
it's the most important one.
And it's it's easier. I'll give you that. It's important, but it seems to be easier for me now. It took a lot of time and a lot of tears and shit. But I'm finally at that point where I'm I don't know if I could ever see myself in another relationship.
Yeah.
Because I've tried it 3 times. And not only I failed 3 times and 3 heartbreaks, I've hit rock bottom 3 times after every relationship. because, like I said, there's three of them as almost 3 decades. That's building a life together. You're getting cars, you're getting homes, you're getting all all this stupid shit in the house, And after every relationship ended, what did I do? I went homeless and left all of them the shit.
Well, here's
because in my eye, it's very hard for a girl to get off the streets safely. So I'd rather be the man and go on the streets and deal with the shit. You get what I'm saying? I would never put a woman, I don't care whose fault it was in the relationship. You get what I'm saying? It ended, you take it, I'll start over. I'll hit rock bottom and I'll build myself back up. But in reality, that makes me stronger. That makes me feel like a king without the crown. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, dude, I gotta send you a song that I found that absolutely represents this shit. You would love it, dude. But like speaking of that, man, I say that speaks highly of your character, dude. Where you're like, I don't care how mad you made me, I don't care how this. I'm not gonna put you through anything. I'm confident enough I can get myself out of the dumpster. So I'll go in the dumpster. You deal with everything. You do this. Like that shows just how self-confident you are in yourself. Like, yeah, I can get myself out of rock bottom. I've done it 3 fucking times. That's impressive, dude. Like that in and of itself is a skill. Like, don't sell yourself short on that.
Bro.
On top of that, you can look at yourself now as like you've matured. You've gone through, your crucible. You've gone through your trials. You're not the same person as you were. So if you start a relationship now, it's not going to be the same type of relationship it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. You're a whole different person. You got to also remember that too. And then at the same time, you also can look at it as, where you are now, what it is you want. You physically just be like, okay, what is it that I want? You don't necessarily need to be like, oh, I want to be married. Maybe that's not what you want. Maybe what you want is just somebody who you can, confide in, feel comfortable around, and like feel like you're part of something, but you don't necessarily need all that.
I'm at that point with a friend of mine right now.
Yeah.
And and we've been kind of, hanging out for about, almost a year and a half, 2 years now. But like, we're playing it like, I don't know, like I want a relationship and I don't. I want that. Like for you, when you said that me time, I need that me time a lot of times. So like, I can't offer much time to a female, and when females want time, they want your time.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? I can't do that because a lot of my me time is meditation, me healing myself. And I can't do that when I'm giving my time to somebody else doing what they want to do.
Yeah.
Because then I get anxiety, or then because that's what happened with me in the relationships. I let some of these women control how they wanted me to be in life. My ex at the time, the last ex, she controlled what I wore in my closet. You get what I'm saying? She controlled if I cut my hair or not. It's like I let her do that, and I don't know why. It's just like
people pleasing tendencies. I can say I'm guilty of the same thing, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you try to do whatever you can, like, and I always, all my time was whatever was going on with their life, with their head. I didn't have time until I had to lock myself in the closet. Once I started locking myself in the closet, that kind of killed my relationship. I love saying closet because everyone's like, what the fuck do you mean about the closet?
Man, are you gay?
So the closet is one of my run, like, I thought in my apartments they had nice little closets, and I always turn that closet into my me space. You get what I'm saying? Yep. It was my time. When I'm in the closet, door closed, let me sing, let me meditate, let me do whatever I'm doing. Don't bother me. And that, it's like, oh man. I'm getting overexcited, though. I'm having so many flashbacks, not just of my first and my second and my third, but the relationships I'm building with people today. Like you said, relationships with my people like you guys, like everyone I talk to, everyone you talk to, you got some kind. If they're in your connection in your circle, you have some kind of relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have some relationship because they're there, they're in your circle. You know, and you know, what's one of the things I like to do with you guys? You know, I like to check in with you guys every now and then. You know what I'm saying? You know,
I try to do that. I try. I'm not
no,
always
but
the
like,
best at it, but like I said, man, like I think that's deep, dude. I think that is deep shit.
if you want a good relationship, what are the three things I would give you? Okay, put it this way. Let's do this. Let's go to a circle. Name three things that would be considered a good relationship to you. What's the three things you need in that relationship? From a friend, from a family member, from a girlfriend, boyfriend.
You want to lead off? How about you go
All
first, man?
right. First one, I would say communication, like Travis said. Boundaries, another one. And and what was the third one? I had them all in my head. I was all like, no, you know,
Those two are like the first two for me is communication and boundaries. And another thing is I'm one of those people
trust,
that
trust.
Mike, you literally just said what I was gonna say. I'm like, these are all the things I was gonna say for me.
I know, right?
So
No,
like,
but like
we all think alike, so we don't even have to go. So.
no, but it's like no, it's right because those are the two fundamental things that you need. And the third one for me is supporting someone's dreams and aspirations. Like if you like for me, I am constantly going back and forth on what I want to do for a career or whatever. I mean, I had a career and that's the, down and under. But like supporting someone's dreams, I think that's huge. You know, like
I
you got
think
to
that
support someone in whatever they want to do,
I
whether
like
it's ridiculous is not like I want to become a music producer. That's what I want to do. I'm learning how to do it day in and day out. Every day is a struggle for me, but at the same time, if I was with somebody, I would hope they would you know support my dreams of hopefully one day becoming a music producer. And I am a music producer in some ways, in a way. I've already released music out there on YouTube. Come check it out.
Oh, I literally saw
Um,
that yesterday. I saw that when you brought it out. I'm like, that's good stuff, dude.
Thank you, man. So like, supporting someone's dreams and aspirations, I think that's a huge one for me. Because it's not easy to. I can tell you this much. My last girlfriend, she was a hairdresser. She owned her own salon, and she did a podcast on top of that dealt around beauty and everything that goes along with a hair salon. So she was constantly doing. She was very like strict about her routine. She knew what she wanted to do each and every day. She had a certain routine down, and if you break that routine, she's all in ten spill, And I would constantly, trying to like break up that routine for her. And I'm like, you're too. I always told her she was too robotic in her and everything that she did. Like you can't. You got to be able to be fluid, more fluid, um, and she was just very strict, I guess. But looking back on it, man, she had it. She knew what she wanted, and I didn't support her in her dreams as much as I should have. And I think ultimately that's what kind of did us in, along the fact that I was a fucking full blown alcoholic. That probably did a lot, but she supported me in that alcoholism because she would every time we would go out, she would order me drinks, and I'm like, I don't know if I should, should I take this drink? I felt guilty a lot of times, but at the same time, I went and took that drink, because she was supporting me in that. And I think, if you have someone that's supporting you in a bad way, you got to be able to speak out for yourself too.
Yep. I know, like, as we were saying, like communication, boundaries, trust. I look at it as what you were saying is like that falls into that category because in order to set good boundaries, you need to have good communication. In order to trust somebody, they need to understand where your boundaries are, and to have good communication, they have to trust you. Like, so it's they're all in tandem with each other. Where if one's lacking, the other stuff is gonna like there's gonna be a thing that crumbles. Like if you don't trust a person, your boundaries, somebody's boundaries aren't going to be respected. If you can't communicate with somebody, you aren't going to set the boundaries. But you could still trust them, be like, oh, they're a loyal person. I don't trust they're going to step out or do something to do me dirty. But they, you may not just have that communication to set the boundaries. So somebody's going to overexert themselves. Like you were saying, it's like, oh, she seemed too robotic. Where it's like, I look at that as I think for her, she could have been a little bit like, okay, I can make some, a little bit here, like I can make it a little bit more flexible, not bending, but like more flexible where it could, kind of like shift a little bit. And then at the same time, like you were saying, like, oh, you should have probably just, put more backing towards what she was doing. Where I think it's like you said, it's just a thing right there where both of you need to do a slight little change, where she had to understand that, hey, you didn't want to necessarily drink, so she needed to stop enabling it. But at the same time, most people, like even like nowadays, like I've seen it plenty of times where even with my own parents, my mom was a big like partier. She liked to party. My dad did not. He understood like there's a risk, especially at the time where he stopped, like he gave up drinking because young kids. He's like, oh, if we both come back plastered, something happens to the kids, what then? So my dad's like, I'm old, I'm gonna stop drinking, I'm gonna stop partying. You can still do all the stuff you wanted, but he lacked in the communication, so he didn't communicate properly with my mom. So my mom felt like he didn't want to like spend time with. It felt like she felt rejected, but she also didn't communicate how she felt. So they both did their own thing separately, but never talked it out. And I look at it as like that's inevitably what ruined their relationship. And even my dad, like I know before he died, he was still kind of resentful about like how his relationships ended, even like with my siblings and stuff like that. He resented a little bit of it because he didn't know what he did wrong, because he's like, I did everything I was supposed to do as a man. I was willing to like your mom do, I provided for the family. I did this, I did that. But he didn't understand what went wrong, and it was his communication. That's where he was lacking, but he himself couldn't see it, and wasn't able to understand it. So he just thought like people just hated him because whatever reason, he just didn't know. So it tore him apart. And it was literally like looking back at it, like I said, like I didn't even realize like just what really kind of happened until after he died, where I kind of like started looking at like the relationship, how things fell, how things changed. I'm like, it was literally communication. My dad didn't do anything wrong. My mom necessarily didn't do anything wrong. It was purely my mom wanted my dad to go out and spend more time with her and like do fun things together, just like not as a family, just the two of them. My dad put family ahead of everything, where he's like, I will make all the sacrifices necessary to keep the ship floating, to keep the ship secure, to keep everything going. I don't care what I have to give up so long as that. But he also didn't realize what prices he was actually paying in the long run, where like I said, his marriage got destroyed. Like as the kids got older, they didn't need him as much, so he felt alone because he no longer had the marriage. He no longer had like somebody he could rely on. So he started to feel that loneliness towards the end of his life, all because of how not being the best communicator, all because of like communication. And they, like I said, my parents still trusted each other. Like they still knew like where their boundaries were in a sense, but they just didn't have that solid communication, which then crumbled where like certain boundaries and certain like trust things. And you can't really fix that once it's kind of broken, because it's just hard, especially when you go like almost like 2 decades of doing that pretty much. Like, what are you going to do? And that's something where if I could go back, I'd tell my dad, like, you need to work on your communication. You need to talk. And I tell my mom the same thing. You two need to talk to each other, not just, we're good, and like try to act hunky dory. It's like, no, fucking talk to each other. That's all you have to do is say what you want, say what he wants, and come to a middle ground. And when you don't do that, you don't have the boundaries, or you don't have like the walls where your cracks are just going to get to the point where it just breaks you. and somebody's gonna give. And at that point, my mom gave in. And I still remember, like, to this day, my dad was like, I was caught off guard. Like, I didn't think like a divorce. Like, I thought we were a happy family. And it's like I said, he didn't see it because he was looking at, like I said, he was looking inward where he's like, I'm doing everything as a father I should do. But he never asked, as a husband, as a partner, what am I doing? What do I need to do? It was always, as a father, what am I doing? Okay, I need to do this as a father. But it was
So
never,
just putting you guys first.
yeah. So
Like-
that's what he, and like as a parent or as like, a father, that is, like I said, he did everything right as a father. It was as a partner, he was doing it all wrong because he wasn't including my mom. And then my mom wasn't doing everything as a mother that she should do because she wasn't talking to him. So they both weren't being the best partners because they just did not talk to each other. And like they had, their own little like obviously they have their own personal issues and stuff like that is everybody's type of thing. But like I can't look at my dad and be like he was a bad dad. No, my dad was a great dad. He just wasn't the best partner. My mom is okay. My mom's not a bad mom. She's not a bad partner. She lacked certain things. Where my dad excelled in one area, my mom excelled in a different area, and then they just never really found a way to work it together and like intertwine each other. They kind of were like, I'll do this and you do that and we'll be good. And that's like I said, like that's sometimes the tragedy about watching certain relationships is you can see what is going wrong, especially like once it's all said and done, you see what happened and you're just like, damn, I want to avoid that. And sometimes you fall into the same exact trap and you don't even realize it because you're there. You're the one doing it. You don't realize, hey, maybe I'm not communicating as well. Or, hey, maybe I didn't set my boundaries properly. Or maybe I really do have some trust issue with the person. I should really like voice them. And you got to like take time. And like, that's why I think like taking time to yourself is important, where you need to take a step back and be like, okay, what am I doing too much of? What am I not doing enough of? And how can you allocate the things properly and to like have a balance where you don't have to do everything perfect. You don't have to be the perfect parent. You don't have to be the perfect husband. You don't have to be the perfect, role model. What you do have to do is be you and understand that what it means to be a partner, what it means to be a father, what it means to be a role model is you have to understand what it means to be that and work on that. And that's to me is what I always say, perfection is not a state of being, it's a state of doing. You are only perfect when you are willing to constantly improve yourself and work on yourself. And that comes in all sorts of different ways. And that's kind of one of the things where I'm like, even now in like my current relationship, I'm like, hey, we need to work on we need to make sure our communication is good because she's very vague and it bothers the living shit out of me because I don't do vague. I'm like, don't do that. Stop. Tell me what you think. And like she'll sit there and like like she'll kind of talk herself in circles and I'll like be like, okay, I'm gonna like kind of crack the way, be like, get yourself straight so I can figure out what you're trying to say, rather than like, oh, okay, you're jumping in like a circle. Okay, you're trying to go in a circle. No, course correct. Be a straight arrow with me. And I'm not saying it works every time, but we're trying, we're working on it. And I think that's really the most important is, are you willing to, because actually this brings back to your question about like what makes a relationship worth it. Are you willing to work on things? Are you willing to be like, hey, yeah, I'm not the best at this. I need to work on this and I'm willing to get that. I'm willing to work on it. Not, I'll try. You don't try. You either do or you don't. Trying is not it's something that makes you feel good. It's the same thing as when where like I look at it as like when people are like, oh, this is just part of God's plan, and like you're in like a shitty place. I'm like, well, you never say it's part of God's plan when you're in a good spot. You only say it when you're in a bad spot. That's a coping mechanism, not a part of God's plan type of shenanigans. Like, no, that's you're coping. Stop that. Accept bad things happen to good people. Good things happen to bad people. Accept it, move on, and find your way, through it. You don't necessarily just be like, well, this is all part of this plan. No, it's not always part of a plan. Sometimes it's just you made bad decisions and you're dealing with consequences. That's part of life.
Part of example of free will, and at the same time, it's like you take your life into your own hands, you make your own decisions, and you got to reap the repercussions of it.
Yep. Like I always look at it as like God is willing to give you the seed. It is your job to plant it in the soil, water it, and tend to it.
Wrong with it. That's it.
Like you can't be like, oh well, no, this is God's plan. It was not God's plan to grow the plant. No, that was up to you. He gave you the tools to do it, but he did not tell you how to do it. He did not show you how to do it. He just said, here's a shovel, here's a little trowel, here's some dirt, here's a seed,
Put it
here's
all
some water. Figure it out. I don't know what to do with this, God.
It's
Not
part
my
of God.
problem. But it's not my problem anymore. I have given you the tools necessary to make something happen. It's not my job to teach you how to do it. You will figure it out because I believe in you enough that you will figure
That's
it out.
like the all the tools in a relationship. You have to figure out how to put it all together.
Yep.
You
And-
have to find. Yeah, you also have to define what love is at the same time. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, what is love? How
Like,
do you define that?
like
You know,
I always say love, like
over time.
I always say people always look at love as it's an emotion. I don't think it's an emotion. I see it as it's more of an agreement where because there's gonna be times where you'll be like, oh, I love this person. Oh, I'm so infatuated with them. Oh, they're the greatest thing.
I hate
And then
when
you'll
people
turn around and be like, I fucking
There's
hate this person. This person just pissed me off. I don't want anything to do with it.
don't talk to me if you start saying I love this, I love that, I love this, I love plants, I love lamps.
I love it. Honestly, love is a word that I look at it. I'm like that get overused. Where I'm like,
So overused.
like I mean, like there'll be times where I'll be like, oh man, I absolutely love. Like for me, I use a lot of like I'll even like some of my friends, like my friend Shay. I will always be like, oh, I love you, Shay, you're my best friend. Like and I do it more as like a joke. Like yeah, I care about her, but I'm like, I'm not gonna like sit there and all this. Like a lot of things we do are jokes. We know where we stand with each other. We know how we work, and so it's like perfectly joke. We have no problem doing the most randomest shit. And to me, I look at that's actual love. Why? Because you're comfortable. When you are comfortable being yourself with the person's the same with you, and there's no resistance, there's no pull. Oh, you gotta act a certain way, you gotta do this, but you both can, like mess with each other. I see that as like that's love. Love is not something you have to say. It is something that just is. You can't be like
you can actually go and have a really meaningful relationship and love each other, but without saying love, because you're doing the right things for each other.
Yeah.
Like you're finishing each other's sentences, or you're opening the door for them, or
So basically, yeah, show me the love. Don't tell me you love me. Show me the love.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I'll determine if you love me by how you show me you love me.
exactly.
Yep.
It's like because love is just another word that can be used in any way. It can be, some people use that word just to use it. You know what I'm saying? But do you really love it? Do you really love them? You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And
It's like
It's I don't know, like you said, is it a strong emotion? Is it an emotion? What is it?
I mean, like I said, I see love as more it's an action. Like I see most emotions are actions. It's just we make them into emotions, and like anger. Anger is not, in my opinion, like it's not necessarily an emotion, it's an action where something has gotten you to such a frustrated point where you need to do something. Most of the time that tends to be violent for people, and that's how they express their anger. But the proper way to express anger is using that anger to propel yourself forward. Where there's been plenty of times when I'm playing video games, I'm getting fucking pissed, and then what happens is I'm not gonna sit there and punch my screen and ruin my shit. I'm like, no, that's fucking bad. I go silent. I lock the fuck in my game. I lock in. I use that hyper focus productively. Rather, like that's how I see emotions. Is they're pretty much the actions, but however you operate the actions can either be negative or positive. Emotions, I see like the base emotion is what you're feeling, but it is not necessarily what you're producing. Like anger, like I said, that's literally you're dialing in. Sometimes you dial into the frustration aspect, and that makes you violent. It puts you into a fight mode. While other times you will use that focus to lock in, become more focused, become more vigilant on what you're doing. And so you become a lot more effective in what you're doing. So it puts you in a focus zone. That's how I see what anger truly is. It's focus. It is focusing on things. Because think of it this way. When you get mad, what are you focusing on? You're focusing on what what somebody did to you. Oh, this guy stepped on my shoe. I'm so mad. You're focused on that situation. You aren't sitting, your innate reaction isn't just, I'm mad, and you aren't just like fuming. You're not, you're not like burning up. No, it's you're
That's
focused
a
on a
good point.
situation,
That's a
and
good
that's
point.
what anger truly is. It's focus. It's hyper focus. While love, I see as another, it's a sort of a similar way, but that is you are showing a deep appreciation, but sometimes that appreciation is a bit selfish, where your way you show love may not be the way a person receives love. So you'll show them love, and then they may not appreciate it in the way you expected. So what happens? That love turns into anger, resentment. So now you're focused on how they should have received something, but you're not looking at how you initially acted for love, because you're acting love selfishly. That's how I look at love. Is if you do it selfishly, it's an inward thing where, if you look at the five love languages, I'm a person where I really don't like physical touch. I'm very much like I'm very standoffish. But when I do physical touch, that's how I express my sort of love. Where if I let you touch me, I let you do that, and I don't like squirm away, is because that's how I show love. I'm like, okay, I like you enough where you can do that. But if I squirm away, you can kind of like be like that. Well, my girlfriend, she's a very touchy person. Well, she'll sometimes do that, and if I'm overwhelmed or like I'm kind of like focused, or I'm just like kind of just not really in the mood, or like I'm just kind of like standoffish, and like I squirm away, she takes that as an insult to her, because her love language is physical touch, so she wants that.
Right.
So she sees that as an insult to her, because hey, I'm trying to show you love, but you're rejecting my love. And like I said, that is a selfish way to look at it, where it's like, well, if I let you do it, it's because I know that's something you want to do, so I let you do it. But at the same time, if I'm just like in a weird state and I'm like, hey, I just can't at the moment, and you take it as an offense, you are taking that love and you're turning it into resentment, anger, and now you're hyper focused on how like I said, something should have been, when it's not how it is. It's you're interpreting it based on how you understand it rather than how they understand certain things. So love is, like I said, it's a very, very, like, emotions in general are really hard, because you need to understand, like, is my emotion a selfish emotion, or is it a outward, like, productive emotion, and are you using it properly the way it's intended? Like sadness is, I look at it as like most people, they feel sadness, depression, and it brings them down. They sit there and like, I just don't want to do anything. I just, and like, they shut down. For me, my sadness is I miss what we had because we can no longer have it anymore. But I am grateful for the moments where rather than feeling like a deep sense of dread, I choose to look at it as I'm only sad because I had the appreciation to value what was lost, rather than I'm never gonna be able to make any new memories, this and that. And like I said, that's how I look at it, most of my emotions. I try to switch them around, try to look at them different ways. Like my happiness isn't something I look at as like, oh, I'm like hunky dory, oh, I'm so happy, woohoo. I'm like, no, I'm happy because I like to joke around. I joke around because it makes other people happy. So, and that might just be being an empath in general, is looking at things in a whole different perspective and all that sort of thing. But like that's just, like I said, it's how I look at emotion, where you gotta look at it differently than how it's people interpret it necessarily. Because I think if you just look at it as like, oh, did love good, anger bad, sadness bad, happy good, nothing is black and white. Nothing is that simple.
No,
It's
it's not.
because happiness can be like, there's such a thing known as toxic happiness. Like it can be
Yeah.
toxic if you're that guy who's always happy, always doing this, always like being like that toxic optimist. People are gonna fucking hate being around you, because it's like there's a huge car crash, boom, a bunch of people dying. Like, man, that's so sad. Yeah, well, at least I'm not, well, yeah, 20 cars, 20 people died in that accident. At least it wasn't 21. Dude, shut up. Like, that's when it gets toxic. When you can never let there be sadness, you can never let there be other emotions other than happiness.
Yeah.
And like, it's kind of funny. I forget where I heard that from, but I heard that from somewhere where it's like, I guess the best way to kind of look at it is like Inside Out, or is it Inside Out? That like animated movie where it's like all about the emotions and stuff.
It's Inside Out.
Yeah. So like when you look at that, where it's like that joy was always like, it's like, oh, I'm just gonna take a thing like banish sadness. It's like, no, you need all the spectrums of the emotions to properly operate, because you can't like you can't properly empathize with somebody who's sad if you're never sad. You can't properly empathize with someone who's anxious if you're never anxious. Like these are all evolutions of certain things, but you can use them in different ways. Like I know for me, it's like one of my friends was saying, like, the things you fear, move towards what you fear, because odds are that's probably where you know you need to go, but you're afraid of what's on the other side because you've never been there before. Go
Right.
that way. Use it as a compass. Don't use it as something to avoid, but as something to move towards. And looking at life that way, I'm like, yeah, that's actually like a really smart way to look at it. Is yeah, fear should be a compass, not a deterrent. And
Yeah.
I'll leave my rant off done there.
No, you're right. You're right.
Well, but it's already been an hour.
Yeah, I just looked at the clock. I'm like, damn, it's already been an hour, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
My
What
glucose
was
monitor is going off. I'm
Right?
not used to it. Can you hear that beeping?
Yeah, I was wondering where that. I thought it was at my house.
Uh,
Oh, I do hear it now. I'll be honest, I have bad hearing, so I can't hear like crap sometimes. I'm like sitting there like, and what was it called? I always look at it too, where like for me too, if like somebody's like, "Oh, you hear that?" and I start to focus, my mind decides to make fucking noises. So it's like
Yeah.
my ear will like ring, and I'm like, "That's not supposed to happen."
I can hear it now.
Yep. All right.
Oh, yo, it was a good time. We're gonna keep doing these, right?
Oh yeah, 100%, dude. Like plain and simple. Like I said, we're eventually gonna solidify a solid schedule. Like I said, I'll write up a schedule, see what works for you guys, and we'll make this a very regular thing. Like I said, at least once a week. If we can work
Yeah.
like a Wednesday in, we can do that. Like I said, I'll throw out you guys in like the little group chat.
Whichever works for you best, you know.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it has to work for all of us for the most part. And like I said, if I can give you guys have the details to the account. So if you guys ever want to, like, if I'm not able to make it, you guys can do a live together. You don't necessarily need me.
Right.
So always remember that. That's also an option.
Well,
So, well, yeah. So I think that I don't know if you guys got any further things you guys want to talk about relationship wise.
No,
uh,
just the fact that just make sure you have good communication with that I think that's the biggest thing for me, and I have to take my own advice and just learn from it, and just be more effective in communication and setting boundaries. I
and
think
that goes for every relationship.
yeah,
Every relationship.
I'm learning the hard way with my personal family. It just sucks that it's going down like this. My cousin won't talk to me anymore. So
I mean, hey,
there's that.
that's their prerogative. Like I said, I look at it as maybe give them some time. Maybe they'll come back. If they don't, it's there. Like you're not, like I said, you could always be like, hey, I want like I'm not like disappearing. Like you can reach out to me. I just don't want to be part of this. When you're ready, I'm here. Like I had I forget who I was talking to. I was talking to oh yeah, it was my friend, one of his mentees. Actually, he was talking about how like he got into a fight, or like he and this other like friend of his, they weren't talking for years, and then his friend went to like going off to like the military, and he just was like, hey, I know we haven't talked in a while, but I just wanted to like pretty much send like an olive, pretty much he sent an olive branch, and the guy's like, yeah, I'm being deployed, and when we were talking, I'm like, yeah, when he gets back, dude, like hit him up, see if he wants to get together, like reconnect, like don't just be like, oh, here's an olive branch, and like never follow up on that shit. Like if he's like, yeah, he seems like he's open to it, set something up when he gets back. Don't just here's an olive branch. All right, I did my thing. I am free to like no, that's not how that works. Like when they respond positively, you follow that up and you set something up, one way or the other. It doesn't have to be like now, doesn't have to be like right this second, but you show that you're making the effort. Right. That goes a long way.
That does. It certainly does.
Yeah. So like I said, I wouldn't look at it as like it's the end of your relationship with your cousin or your other family members or whatever. It's just, hey, you hit a rough patch. Yeah. Let them know like, hey, I'm still around. Just don't want to deal with all this drama. It's not good for me. reach out when you guys are ready. And I don't know, talk from the heart, I guess.
And speaking of that is my cousin. She never calls me. She'll never be the one to call me, and it bothers me. To be like to check up on me or anything. She has to wait for me to initiate that conversation. And I said, no, it's too much.
That's the relationship I have with my mother. She won't reach out to me. I gotta reach out to her.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I used to joke with my girlfriend about that, where I'm like, she's like, oh, I'll call you. I'm like, no, you won't. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you never call me. I'm always want to call you. Well, so she's actually started calling me a few times. I'm like, oh, look at you. Like, okay, you proved me wrong a little bit. I'm like, progress. Well, like some people, she'd always use ADHD. She's like, it's really hard. Like, I get distracted and I forget and blah blah blah. And I'm like, you can't make it an excuse every single time. Like, come on, like
Right.
it's on your mind. Just do it. Well, like I said, maybe just. I'm guessing you probably brought that up to her at some point where you're like, hey, I'd like you to actually initiate stuff and not just have me always reach out. So, like I said, some people just won't change. That's okay. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to. It just means, okay, well, okay, I'll talk to you on my terms. Like, whenever we talk, it'll always be on my terms. And sometimes this is all you got to do.
Yeah. I've kind of just said to myself that that's just how she is.
Yeah.
How she's gonna be.
Yep. Like I said, like I can't say I'm the best because I know there's times where I'm like, I just won't reach out to people and I'll like turtle and just disappear for months on end type of deal, and then like randomly I'll just message somebody or like send some stupid shit. Like even one of my friends, like we haven't talked for a while, and I'll just send them like stupid shit. Like I'll send them like funny memes. I'm like, this is funny. And he'll send things like, this is fucking retarded. I'm like, I know, it's fucking stupid. And like sometimes, like one of the things I sent one of my friends was literally it just made me laugh. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna send it to him. And it's sort of like, just in case nobody's told you today, fuck you. Literally all it was. It was literally just like, just in case nobody told you today, fuck you. Literally no prompt, no anything. That's just all it was. I got to laugh at it. And literally his message back was, fuck you too, man. And like sometimes that's all it takes. You just send something just a little goofy towards someone, just like, it made me think of them. It's not really something serious. It's like, here you go. And then and then he like reached out to me earlier today, and I'm like, oh yeah, we haven't talked in a while, so we've been chatting back and forth about like just random shit. But
yeah,
and like sometimes that's all it takes, just doing something stupid, not expecting a reply anytime soon, get a reply, and then going from there.
Right.
But
all right. But I'm gonna check out because I gotta eat something.
All right. Well, I guess we will end this off here, boys. It was an absolute pleasure.
Until next time.
Until next time, man.
Until next time.
We got to come up with a sign off.
Yeah.
How do we sign off?
Magical fingers. Well, we'll come up with it. All right. But anyways, catch you guys later. Always remember the greatest philosophy. Never change, always evolve.
All right.